Have you ever looked at a task and thought to yourself, okay, I'll do it later, and then 3 hours went by and you still didn't do anything? Same here. But what if I told you that all your big habits, your productivity, and even quitting bad habits could potentially start in 2 minutes? Today, I'm going to show you how a simple 2 minute habit trick completely revolutionized the way I work, focus, and even take care of myself. And why it's better than any motivational speech you have ever heard. Trust me, this is going to change the way you start everything. What is a 2 minute rule? You know the time when a small task is lying around? For instance, putting away your shoes, replying to a message, or washing one coffee cup. And you are like, I'll do it later. Yeah, we both know what happens. When a task drags on for hours, days, suddenly a little job becomes a giant. That's exactly why I started using the 2 minute rule. And honestly, it changed everything for me. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to do, just do it now. No excuses, no procrastination, no mental negotiation. Just get it done. Let me give you an example. I used to let dishes pile up in the sink. I would think to myself, one plate? Eh, I will wash it later. Only for later to actually mean 3 days later, when there's a mini mountain of dishes. The 2 minute rule flipped that. As soon as I'm done eating, I rinse and wash immediately. It instantly takes less than 2 minutes, and the sink is always neat and tidy. And it doesn't just work for chores. I started using it with messages. We have opened a text thought, I'll reply later and forget about it, right? Yeah, guilty. If I get a text, I know it will take me less than 2 minutes to reply. I reply now. No more ghosting my friends by accident. This rule works like magic to stop procrastination before it gets a chance to happen. Our brains tend to resist big tasks that seem overwhelming, but not one that takes less than 2 minutes. It feels too easy to ignore. Once you start to do these small things, you will build up momentum. And momentum is everything. Removing your shoes as soon as you enter makes the area tidy. Reading one page gets you into the flow to keep reading. Writing one sentence often turns into a whole paragraph. Starting anything is the hardest part. However, the 2 minute rule convinces our brain to start with something simple. It sounds ridiculously simple, but that's why it works. The reality is that procrastination doesn't start with the big stuff, it starts with the tiny little delays we let slide. The 2 minute rule stops those delays before they snowball. So the next time you see something small waiting for you, don't say later. Ask yourself whether this will take less than 2 minutes. If the answer is yes, do it right now. You will be surprised how much lighter, more effective, and more in control you will be. You know that mindset when you simply look at a gigantic task and immediately feel drained before you even get to it? Like the moment I say to myself, I need to clean my entire room. My brain is like, nope, too much. Let's just scroll on TikTok instead. That's exactly why the 2 minute rule works so well. Because instead of saying to yourself that you have to do the whole thing, you say to yourself just 2 minutes. And suddenly your brain doesn't freak out. That's the psychology of it. Our brains are wired to avoid effort and pain. Giant goals are heavy, too much, and even scary at times. But 2 minutes? No one gives a crap. Anyone can run for 2 minutes. It lowers the barrier so much that your mind doesn't complain. Let me give you an example. I want to run a few months back, but each time I thought about going for a 30-minute run, I'd think of some reason. It's too late, I'm too tired, maybe tomorrow. But when I applied the 2 minute rule, I told myself just put your shoes on and walk outside. 2 minutes, that's it. And what happened? Once I had gotten my shoes on, after I had walked out the door, I told myself, well, I'm here now. Might as well go for a little. 2 minutes had gone by, then 10, then 30. That's the magic of this rule. It's not about finishing this enormous task within 2 minutes, it's about getting started. Because as soon as you do start, momentum takes over. Put it this way, have you ever said, I'll just check one message, and then 2 minutes pass and you are still swiping your phone? Yeah, it's the same but better. You get your mind going by doing something positive, and then you just sort of keep going. And the best part, even if you only make it through the 2 minutes, you are a winner because you engaged. You created the identity of someone who gets things done and not someone who procrastinates. And that identity shift is what creates lasting habits. So, why does the 2 minute rule succeed? Because it removes the fear, removes the resistance, and lets you start small. And starting small is usually the only way to ultimately create something grand. How to use it for building good habits? But then I understood forming good habits is not about totally changing my life overnight. It's not about getting up at 5 a.m. and jogging 5 miles and reading for an hour and eating completely clean. All of it from Monday and bang, by Wednesday I'm out. Totally burned out. Then I learned the 2 minute rule for habits and it completely turned my world upside down. The idea is this, instead of attempting to the same entire habit, you simply start with a 2 minute version of it. So, for example, when I was working on getting in exercise, I didn't commit to an hour at the gym. That's always sounded daunting. I committed to myself instead, just put on your workout shoes, that's it. 2 minutes, no pressure. But then this is what happened. After the shoes were on, my brain thought, well, since I'm already dressed, I might as well just go for a little walk. And 9 times out of 10, that little walk turned into a serious workout. Same with reading. I would tell myself I'll read 30 minutes a day. Sounds great, right? But most nights I was beat and the book stayed closed. So I used the 2 minute rule. Simply read one page, and here's the thing, you never actually stop on one page. Once you have got the book open and you are reading already, you just keep going. And meditation? That was the hardest part for me. Quietly sitting was impossible, but instead of aiming for 15 minutes, I started with simply sitting quietly for 2 minutes. No timer, no stress, just breathe. And honestly, sometimes those 2 minutes would give way to 5, then 10, and now it feels natural. The brilliance of the 2 minute rule is that it removes the pressure. You are not committing yourself to gigantic change. You are committing yourself to the start. And as you start, you usually keep going. It's planting a seed. 2 minutes is a seed. It's tiny, it's easy, it feels doable. But weeks or months down the road, that small seed has blossomed into a real habit. So instead of attempting to scale the whole mountain in a single day, simply take the very first 2 minute step. Tie your shoes, read one page, sit in silence. That is how real habits form. Little by little, simple and consistent. How to use it for breaking bad habits? Okay, let's get real with you. I used to waste hours of time scrolling mindlessly through social media. I would tell myself 5 minutes, and the next thing I knew it was midnight. My to-do list was untouched and I was in a deep rabbit hole of useless cat videos and people I don't even know. And on Netflix? Oh, don't even get me started. One more episode turned into a whole season in one night. And the worst part, I would wake up the next day feeling guilty, unproductive, and just sort of angry at myself. That's when I started applying the 2 minute rule, but in reverse this time, not for forming good habits, but for breaking bad ones. Here's how it goes. Instead of trying to give up cold turkey, you allow yourself a 2 minute timeout. Just 2 minutes of procrastination before you indulge. So for me, whenever I feel the urge to open Instagram, I would say wait, 2 minutes. No scrolling, no refreshing, just 2 minutes of breathing. Standing up, maybe getting water, and something crazy happened. Most of the time, the urge disappeared. What 2 minutes ago had felt urgent suddenly didn't feel like a big deal anymore. Same with Netflix. I would say before hitting play, alright, 2 minutes first. Sometimes I would stretch and sometimes I'd simply sit and do a check in with myself. Do I really want to begin this episode? Or am I simply bored? And quite often I didn't even hit play. The trick is these cravings are like waves. They roll in, they crest, and they go away. If you can just wait 2 minutes, you ride the wave instead of the wave breaking over you. And the best part is you don't even have to quit the habit right away. You don't say never again. You just say not yet. Give me 2 minutes, the tiny pause puts you back in the driver's seat. The truth is, willpower isn't about struggling 24/7. It's about creating small gaps, small openings where you make a different choice, and the 2 minute rule lets those openings happen. So, if you are struggling with a bad habit, whether it's endless scrolling, binge watching, or even snacking out of boredom, try this. Give yourself a 2 minute pause. Don't quit forever, just wait. You will be surprised how often those urges simply fade away. Real life results of the 2 minute rule. You know when others say small steps lead to big change, but it always sounds like one of those motivational quotes that you scroll past. Well, let me tell you the 2 minute rule made it concrete for me in real life. Here's an example. A while back, I wanted to get back into reading. But seriously, whenever I looked at a 300-page book, I would feel intimidated. Like, when am I ever going to get this done? So I used the 2 minute rule. Simply read one page every night. That's all. No pressure, but here's the thing. One page turned into two, then five, then 10. And before I even realized it, I had finished the entire book. And then another, and another. Reading is now a daily habit of mine, all because I began with just 2 minutes. Same thing with writing. I always wanted to start a blog, but I was saying to myself that I needed the perfect idea, the perfect setup, and honestly, I never started. Until the day I said, just write one sentence, 2 minutes, that's all. And you know what? That one sentence generated a paragraph, then a page, and soon I was posting regularly. Something I delayed for years at once became a reality due to 2 minutes. And another stretching. I used to always complain that I was so stiff and needed to be more flexible, yet I never stuck to a routine consistently. Then I tried just 2 minutes of stretching before bed. No big workout routine, no yoga class, just 2 minutes. And what occurred? 2 minutes became five, five became 10. Now I cannot picture going to bed without it. And the result? My body feels better, my sleep has improved, and I have more energy in the morning. That's the power of the 2 minute rule. It's not about doing huge things instantly, it's about proving to yourself that you can start. And when you start, you build momentum. Looking back, I realized that those tiny actions accumulated. 2 minutes of reading turned me into a book completer. 2 minutes of writing turned me into a creator. 2 minutes of stretching turned me into someone who respects her body. And that's a real secret. Tiny beginnings create significant transformations. Here's the thing, you don't need to have a ton of free time, a perfect schedule, or super duper motivation to start changing your life. You just need 2 minutes. Start small, start simple, and it will grow into habits that stick. If you try this today, share below what tiny 2 minute habit you are going to start, and I would love to hear how it changes your life in a few days. And hey, if you liked this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell because we are only just getting started with life changing hacks like this.